Morning, guys. It's Monday, the second week of holidays, and technically the last week. So, I've got plenty of time today. So I've decided to do a sort of 24 hours reading blog or anything that is related to books and reading and all of those things. So, I'm gonna start with this book, Fahrenheit 451. Now, I do not have any goals of like I have to read 5 books in 24 hours or 2 books in 24 hours. I'll be starting with this book and then we'll see how far we'll be getting along. I'm particularly excited for this book because I kind of read it in Kindle first. I bought it in Kindle and then I read a couple of pages and I really liked it. And then I thought like I would need a physical copy of this book so that I can take my critical thinking notes, and I love the book cover as well. So let's get started. Okay, I'm 40 pages in and I absolutely love the book so far. Now, this is my first book that I'm reading written by Ray Bradbury. Now, the premise of this book is it's set in like a distant future, maybe of an alternate timeline, where books are considered illegal by the government and the society in general. The concept of a fireman is radically different from what we have in today's society. Instead of putting out fires, a fireman is supposed to light books on fires. Yeah. I mean, this concept is what actually interested me in reading this book. So, until now, what has happened is the protagonist, so the narrators, so the main character is called Guy Montag, who is one of the firemen of that society, and he absolutely loves his job. He goes ahead and burns book during his daytime and then returns to his home and then lives a quiet life. Something to keep in mind is the Fahrenheit 451 is the temperature at which books catch fire. Yeah, so this main character just keeps on enjoying his job, burning down books without ever bothering what's written on it and all of those things until he meets with a neighborhood girl called Clarice. And then Clarice makes him look, uh, makes him see the other side of things. So she starts questioning him. Have you ever slowed down in your life and observed nature, leaves. Have you tasted the rain? Have you ever read any of those books that you have burned? So all of those questions trigger something deep within the main character's mind, where he starts questioning that the job or the society which they are living in, is it worthwhile? And there are also different themes about this futuristic society in general. So it's not technically a dystopian society, because until now there is no mention of an overlord ruling that society, or the government is corrupt in general. But it's more about the progress. There are like certain scenes where they mention, like in school, all they teach about is sports, and then they watch everyone TV documentaries and transcript certain stuff and everything, but do not focus upon the human connection. So people are talking with each other less and less. Books are banned. So it's a different way how knowledge and civilization has evolved. Now, so I have read 40 pages until now, and I just completed an intense scene where Guy, the main lead, goes on with his other bunch of firemen to respond to an alarm where they suspect that a person is owning books, and they go there and they find a lady, and then uh, they are about to set everything on fire. The lady who owns the book says that she's not going to abandon her books, and if they want to burn it, they have to burn her along with the books. And then the lead fireman says that the lead fireman starts counting till 10, like, and asks the lady to move out, but the lady does not flinch. Instead, drenched in kerosene, she lights up a match with a determined look in her face, which kind of scares the firemen, and they run away. And then she sets herself and her books ablaze. So, which was very intense in my opinion. been a Kindle user for the last 10 years, and after reading hundreds of books, I decided to finally upgrade to a premium one. And I finally got the new Kindle Scribe with a premium pen. So this is technically it's not the second generation, but it comes with a lot of upgrades, a lot of AI features. My primary purpose is not gonna be like use it as a digital journal or anything, but to take notes on the critical text that I read, like history books or like on art, theology. So something that I like to do on physical copies is to take a lot of notes on the margin. That way, it solidifies my understanding so that I can come back later and refer to the notes and try to draw more um, insights from all of those notes taken. So, yeah. And a lot of the times, the physical copies of those critical edition books are really expensive. So, I have to rely on digital copies. So, yeah, this is gonna come really handy. Okay, 1 hour into using my new Kindle Scribe, and I'm really glad of the decision of buying it. Uh, One thing which I did not expect was the new pencil is capable of attaching the device via magnet, which makes it really convenient to carry around. I have ordered a sleeve for it, and oh man, look at this jade color. It comes in a metallic jade color. Oh man, look at this metallic jade color. It's so classy. Looks so good. And here are my impressions so far of using this device in the last 1 hour. It's really easy to hold. It does not look as difficult. Like I had my concerns, or I was skeptical of getting a large Kindle, thinking that it might not be easy to hold. Uh, but it's definitely very easy to hold. I have not held it for a longer time yet. It's just been like what 30 to 40 minutes, and I have played around with the notebook functionality and uh, writing notes directly on books itself. I have not loaded my favorite books over here yet, and the ones which I am supposed to be doing critical reading. So I've got like few books in plan. So I've got few books in mind. The Iliad, the Odyssey, and a lot of Puranas and scriptures from Sanskrit as well. So I'm gonna read all of those things in this particular device. And the smaller Kindle which I have, I'll be still be using it, but that would be more for like nighttime reading and probably reading novels, maybe like light-hearted novels, which I do not have to think and take notes. That would come in handy. Versus this large screen would be extremely handy when I'm reading something like a magazine or like a book which comes with a lot of pictures. For example, like maybe I'm reading about the artworks of Van Gogh and all of the letters that he wrote to his brother Theo. This large screen would be coming in handy for those kind of occasions. Okay, time for a progress check. I just got done with 50% of the book and I really like it so far. So the last time I checked in was when we discovered the main character Guy Montag responds an alarm with his firemen to a house which is owned by a lady along with her books. And when the firemen threaten to light up her books, she refuses to leave and just kind of perishes along with the books. And during that moment, the main character kind of steals one book with him and then flees the scene and then comes back to his home and then has a conversation with his wife, Millie, and sort of has this moment of epiphany and an awakening as to what he's doing with his life. Is he living his life on his own accord, or living as per the norms or the rules that the society has taught him to live as per? And then he starts asking these questions to his wife, as to like, when was the last time someone had ever read a book and all of those things. And then he tries to play sick and does not report to his workplace. And then his boss shows up at his house, and then he tells the main character that he has seen it all. There have been firemen in the past who have discovered books, and had this moral epiphany which he has been going through. And then he describes the history of that alternate timeline. So I was correct about that. I suspected that it was an alternate history. So in this alternate history, in the 1700s or the 1800s, depending upon when um, civil war happened in this particular timeline, there was this um, contradictory opinion which was built about books in the society, thinking that it does not bring in much value. And oh yeah, they go as far as describing Benjamin Franklin as the first fireman of this timeline. And then this thought process of books not bringing in any value accelerated when the TV and the radio revolution happened in the 19th century. So the progress of the society was, in a way, it's sort of like the times which we are living in. Shorter the content, the more efficient and interesting it is. People just started summarizing the content of existing books in radio programs, TV shows, and everything. And gradually, the intrinsic value of a book was lost, up to a point that people just started thinking that having books or reading them is just a waste of time and not good for society in general. And yeah, and then the main character goes on and checks with his friends, I want to say, about the book which he had stolen. Turns out it's a copy of the Bible, and it might probably be the only copy surviving in this part of the world. And yeah, and then he is continuing to question and discover the works of old authors, like asking his friends, like, are there any surviving works of Plato and all of those things. So yeah, so I'm halfway through. I guess I have another 75 pages remaining, so I'm really excited how the story will end. this burst of flavors in your mouth. Okay, so just got done with Fahrenheit 451, and I'm really glad that I picked up this book. I've got so many thoughts. Uh, yeah, probably I'll be recording another sequence tomorrow morning to talk in detail about my thoughts about this book. But yeah, right now it's 9 o'clock and it's my bedtime. So see you in the next sequence. Okay, so I completed reading Fahrenheit 451 last night, but I forgot to record the video. Well, that's not true. I was like really tired and I went to bed, so I'm recording this video the next day. Now, the book is really phenomenal. Now, this entire reading vlog was realistic because given 24 hours and considering other responsibilities in life, you're gonna find those pockets of time to read. And I did my best to read that book. Uh, it was of, I guess, 150 pages around, yeah, around that mark. And the entire story is divided into like three acts, like a classic uh, way of like writing novels. Now, in the entire three acts, we see the main character's journey, Montag's journey from being a non believer or like a person who has been brainwashed by uh, the traditional way of knowledge that has been taught to him through society and government and everything, to a point where he discovers where the actual knowledge lies in. And he develops this curiosity about books and what do they contain. And he was living in a society where people considered you should not be pausing or stopping in your life to think about stuff, because if you stop to think about stuff it'll make you evil. So um they cite like certain examples in the book throughout the story, like when you start reading poetry or philosophy, that will lead you into a negative mindset and that will lead to depression. And those accounts create a sort of this perspective towards books, that books are evil and all you would be getting out of them is negativity and depression. But the main character goes on and reads certain books to find out that they serve the purpose, and books allow an individual to live slowly and think about deeper aspects of life. And not all that is being taught in the society is correct. Sometimes you got to form your own opinions by exploring what's out there and relying on those experiences to form your own knowledge base. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.